Okay, welcome everybody to What's New and Coming Up with Lipedema. I am Siobhan. I'm the research specialist with Lipedema Simplified, and I'm joined here by Catherine Sayo. Catherine, say hello.
Hi, everyone. Good to be here. It is cold, cold, cold in New England. We're having an Arctic freeze.
Ooh. Oh yeah, you would have been hit by that. What is the temperature like?
Good question. Let me look. I'm just freezing here, weather. I just went to 22 degrees.
22 degrees. Yeah,
Holy
it's
cow.
fairly mild here. Nothing much to write home about.
Oh my God. And we're having rain and snow tomorrow.
Yeah, it's in the 40s here, low 40s.
All right. That's the weather report.
Yeah, that's the weather report. And by the way, for the people who are watching, please make sure to say hello in the chat. You can share what your own weather is, or whatever else if you like, what you had for breakfast or lunch at this point in time, probably. How you're feeling, any questions you have. We are here for you. Ah, and Jenny popped up in chat and said, "Hi, Catherine and Siobhan. It's cold and wet on the island too. Good to know."
Oh, wow. I'll tell you. Though I don't seem to mind it when I don't have a lot I need to do. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely did not go to the pool in this weather.
That's not surprising.
Yeah, I will go over the weekend though. I
And
yeah.
yeah, and Patsy said, "Hello, cold, rainy, winter drizzle. Feeling great today." Yeah, it's kind of the same here. A little bit like light drizzly rain, but not really. A little bit cold, but not really. But nice walking weather at least.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Are you in the city or are you in the country?
Not really either. It's more of like a apartment suburby area that's not too like a half-hour walk from downtown, and then we can take a train from downtown into Stockholm. So slightly north of Stockholm in a living area.
So is it like the suburbs?
Mm, it's like a bunch of different apartments, like a cluster of apartments. It's very similar to where I'll be living in Sioux Falls. Like some apartments, and then a little ways away is downtown where all the stuff goes on.
Mhm. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So let's
So
see. We do have some things coming up. At least one thing. Um, so the next thing coming up is a fireside chat with Nora Carr. And this is going to be focused on navigating lipedema surgery with confidence. And this will be on Thursday, December 11th. So that would be next Thursday, this upcoming Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And this will be a free webinar. Is that correct? A
it's a
fireside. Anybody?
fireside chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's get a cup of tea, think about your questions, and come and hang out. It's they're very informal. And so Nora is a nurse practitioner, so she comes with background in healthcare, but she's really coming as a lipedema patient who's gone through a lot. She's lost over 100 pounds and has had two of, I think she's going to have 4 surgeries. I'm not sure about the number, but I know she's had 2 of them with Dr. Oh my goodness, Volstein. Dr. Volstein in New Jersey. So she lives in the Boston area, which is how I know her. So what happened, I'm coming back. Let me come back. What happened is we had our June gatherings, which are the circle gatherings which are live get-togethers for anybody who wants to get together live. And I had moved, and I'm living in Mansfield, which is an hour outside of Boston, which is much further than when I was living in the city. But a nice ride and a beautiful place and a deck. So, Siobhan, you have yours in Boulder,
Mm-hmm.
do it. And so I had mine here in Mansfield, and Nora came. Nora was one of 4 women who came, and we hung out and ate and laughed and talked some more and talked more and cried and laughed and talked more. So we had such a great time that I've been doing it every couple of months. So Nora's come 3 or 4 times. And so I've been lucky to hear a lot of her story and what's been happening and her process with surgery and with insurance. And it's so fascinating. So we get together on Sundays and I do my Facebook Live on Sunday nights. And so she was here and I said, why don't you do it with me? And the two of us talked about the whole surgical process and started to answer some questions, much like today, like this. And what ended up happening is I said, we need something where people can come and really get into it. So that's how this fireside chat was born. And so let's see. The last time we got together was a couple of weeks into November. So maybe 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago. No, not even that. No, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. So anyway, that's why we're doing it, because she is filled with knowledge.
Excellent. Yeah. And it's so helpful to have the personal journey component because, sure, there's a lot of information about like what's involved in the surgery and insurance components and all this stuff. But it's very different from understanding like what the actual experience itself is like what do you need to prepare for, what do you need to keep in mind, all of the nitty gritty stuff. So that is very cool.
Yeah, I think it will be fun. And
Yes, and
so,
just like with the other webinars, even if you can't attend live, make sure to sign up because recordings will go out afterwards. Hopefully, you can attend live though, because I think the fireside chats are best suited to being present in the moment, contributing to the conversation. But even if you can't, just sign up anyway and make sure that you get that recording sent your way so that you can listen in when you're available.
yes, I totally agree. Um, the other thing that's coming up, and I'm just this is more than anything, pencil this into your calendar, is that we're doing a town hall on December 27th after Christmas. That's quite a distance off, and we'll be reminding everybody. I love doing the town halls. The town halls are like the community getting together, and we go over what we've done in the past year and where we're headed in the new year. And you're not going to want to miss this one because there's been a couple of groups of women in the community that have been doing projects to bring into the entire community. Hi,
Excellent.
Kathleen from Wisconsin. Welcome. I'll just sort of say that so much of what we do and where we go in terms of direction comes from the community itself.
Hmm.
Somebody says something, um, well, our whole, um, I call it the artsy fartsy group, but you call it something else. But the group, we meet once a month and people bring whatever they're working on. Some people crochet, some people knit, some people, Deborah does Zentangle, which are these wonderful drawings. We have people making ornaments for the holidays, uh, just all kinds of different creative endeavors. And that came from Siobhan. Siobhan said, Siobhan, you'll see sometimes knitting, and it's her way of staying focused. And
Hmm.
oh my God, do you have one of your sweaters on?
This is not my sweater. I bought it downtown, but let me see here. I always have projects nearby me. So let's see. Here is a pair of socks I'm making for my husband. They're fuzzy socks.
So cute. So, well, Siobhan just said, well, why don't we have a monthly group? And that's how it got born. And there's a number of women who come regularly every single month. And we get to watch whatever their project is. So that's an example of how things come from the community. Well, we have two projects that are we are launching in the new year. So we're going to be talking about it at the town hall. And I actually think we're going to do an entire webinar on it because they're so complex. The simple version is one of our community members had to go to the ER, and she was sick enough that they put her immediately into the ICU, the intensive care unit. And she was in the intensive care unit, I think, for somewhere between 7 to 9 days. Obviously, she came out of it, thank God, and she's actually doing well. But she had a rough time when she was there. And so she was sharing with us. And what we said is we need to be prepared for these kinds of things because, we have chronic diseases that often have comorbidities, and we know some things about it. So, anyway, we put a group of women put together something called the Medical Go Kit.
Hmm.
So it is a way for each of us to put together something that can be used in an emergency. And the way that we thought about it was like when you're pregnant, you're not going to wait until the last minute to put your bag together. You're going to
Hmm.
put your bag
Especially because you don't know when something is going to happen, when you need to go in.
right.
And with lipedema too, like there are special considerations in terms of like gear that you might need. Like maybe you want to make sure you have a pair of compression gear in there. Maybe you want to make sure you have some snacks or food or even like meal replacement shakes in there in case the hospital doesn't have food that's going to work for you. All sorts of even just like notes of like do this, don't do this, that type of stuff.
And also, one of the things that Jenny's here because we talked to her a few minutes ago. Um, Jenny ran a group for one of the comorbidities to lipedema called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or EDS, which is hypermobility. And one of the things that they did is they had like little identification cards that said, "This is me." And on it, it would state some of what isn't necessarily obvious in an emergency room, like Ehlers-Danlos, EDS, hypermobility. This is what it is. This is how it affects things. Um, um,
Yeah, I think there's like certain antibiotics that aren't recommended. There's all sorts of stuff that like when you're trying to think of it in the moment, it might not come to mind immediately. But you definitely need to have the information on hand. So even just having like a little card can be really helpful.
so that's how this all got started. And then the other project that got started is this. There's something that each and every one of us know without any doubt, which is how our lives are going to end. The one thing that we can all be certain of is that each and every one of us, at some point are going to pass. And yet we live as if that wasn't a reality. And so one of the things that came up in our discussion groups is, what would it look like if we were able to garner support in supporting ourselves and one another and planning for our end of life? Now, it's not as morbid as it sounds. We have so much fun in our knitting group, in our artsy fartsy group. We thought, gee, that could be really good with support. So we have put together an end of life planning kit. And you can either, as a tribe member, you can, have a copy of the kit and the workbook, or as an all access member, we'll actually be doing it together, which is my preference. I'd rather do it with people than not people. Here comes Bella. She's crossing the screen. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, one way to think about it is that you're caring for your friends and family ahead of time, because it means if you plan a lot of the stuff that you can out, it's stuff that they don't have to think about, they don't have to worry about. It's already squared away ahead of time.
So Bella wants me to feed her, and it's about that time.
Yeah.
So, thank you all for popping in. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay warm and cozy wherever you are. If you're part of our CSIG, we're meeting in an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and 14 minutes. So we'll see you in the CSIG coaching session, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Yeah. And if not, we'll see you all next Friday. Bye bye.